is up, guys? Illinois Outdoorsman, and today we're going to take this and re-spool this. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so obviously as you saw, we're going to take this braided line that we did a video about last week on fishing line, and I've still got them all sitting right here. These right here. The rod we're going to re-spool today is obviously my frog rod. It is 7'10", I think. Yeah, 7'10" heavy action rod. I spool it with a 50-pound braid. If I can find 65, I use 65, but for the most part, heaviest I can find is 50, which is plenty. I just don't like losing frogs. I mean, granted, I'm still gonna go get the frog, but I don't want to lose it. So, as you guys can see, I don't know how well you guys can see. You can see all the nicks and the frays in this, and you can see how nasty this reel has gotten. I mean, all the crap up in here. All this is just dried weeds and garbage and stuff out of the water. So while we're doing this, we're gonna scrape all that crap off of there too. So first thing you're gonna need to do is, one, move the camera around. So hold on, you guys, and then we'll get into that list in just a minute. All right, you guys, so I flipped the camera around. I'm back here again. What you're gonna need for this is your fishing line, your reel. I use keep it on my rod. They make stands, and you just put your reel in, you put the spool up over here and all that crap. Yeah, I'm not doing that. A knife, a good sharp knife, and I like to use toothpicks. Sometimes I will use some Q-tips and some rubbing alcohol, but should be able to get a majority of it with these toothpicks. So we're going to, first step on this is a bait casting reel. For those of you who don't know, this is how you release your line. I hook my hooks right here on the face of this. Obviously you can see I can pull a line out. We're going to rotate the handle, get that to lock again. Step number one is open your knife without cutting yourself. I'm going to do here, take this, frog is free. We will get rid of, we're going to put this back on here, but we will get rid of this tag end here. Focus, there it is. Get rid of this tag end when we're done. Next thing you're going to do is open your spool or your bail, depending on the kind of rod. We're going to pull all this out of the eyes, and this will be the part I end up fast forwarding through, you guys. What you're going to do is you're going to get it all out of the eyes of the rod. Take this, and you're just going to sit here and do this and get all of it off the reel. As we're going, you guys, you'll see what's left on the reel will actually change color. There's a coating on this line that will that kind of helps protect it, but it'll make your fingers green when you put new on. You'll see it. It's the same line, just a year difference. So I will get all this off, you guys, and then we'll start the cleaning process. All right, you guys, so as you can see, we are now empty. There's nothing left on the reel. Here's the line I took off. As you can see, it's this real dark green, and then you see this right here is this light. This is that top layer that's been brutalized and beat up, and this is what it actually looks like new. You can see it on my hands that new still has that coating on it. So that coating is actually on here, and then this is a majority of what you can physically see the difference in it right there, all the nicks and everything else. So, but it's held up, it's done its job. But sorry, last year's braid, it is time to go. On changing fishing line, you guys, make sure you're responsible about it. Don't throw it in the water and all that other crap. I hate picking up fishing line out of the water. The wildlife hates it. We all hate it, and it's littering. Don't be an ass and throw it in the bin where it goes. A lot of places, I know here around Illinois, a lot of them have a tube that you put your fishing line in. It's a PVC tube. You shove your fishing line in, and they come out and empty it. This way, it's all in one place. So that's my tidbit for you there. As you guys can see, I just cracked this reel off of here, and you can see there's this sticking up here, and it's like hard. This, the underside of my reel. This is all dried grass is what this is. Grass and matting. So we're going to get most all of this off. This is obviously why we have toothpicks. You can sit here and get a majority of it off with a toothpick. See? And you're just kind of scraping it. It's hard, it's dried out, so but it does take a toll on your reels and your line in your equipment. This is part of this equipment maintenance here. I don't take a knife to it just because I don't want to scratch up my rod. So this toothpick is obviously a little more forgiving. Just kind of scuffs it, which you're never going to see the scuff. So no harm, no foul. Get this all cleaned up. I may get some alcohol, or even a baby wipe would do it, honestly. Hold that thought, guys. Let me see if I got any baby wipes. I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, today's your lucky day. I do have some baby wipes. Yeah, so you're really just kind of re-wetting the stuff that's already dried, so you got to kind of scrub at it a little bit. Get it off of there. Get it all nice and cleaned up, because ain't no better feeling in the world than grabbing a rod with last year's crap all over it. It's going to help kind of extend the life of your equipment too, so there's always that bonus. So I will have to go down each one of these eyelets on here is like that too, but I'll get that when we're done. This video is about doing fishing line, not rod. So I'm going to set that bad boy off over here. This reel, you guys, this reel is horrid. Sorry, except on the tripod. What we're going to do is go in here and we're just going to see, like, you got that big chunk, this big chunk here. I mean, this is all of this. As you guys can see, all this right here has just come off of me barely touching this reel. The bottom of the button. So it's just a matter of go through and get it all cleaned up. So you guys, I'm going to get this cleaned up and we'll come back and we'll put new line on here. Alright, you guys, so this right here is the crap I got off the reel. Here is what it looks like now. All nice and clean and working properly again. So, get this out of the way. Alright, so now that we have that cleaned, what we're going to do is we're actually going to seat this back on this reel. If you guys are interested, I don't know if you exactly are. This is a 7'10" quantum smoke rod with a quantum nitrous reel. The reel is a 6.1 to 1 gear ratio. It's a little slow for topwater fishing, but I like it because of the long rod. I have that excessive amount of reach with it, so that's why I paired it with that, not a faster reel. That's a whole side note. So what we're gonna do here, get this bad boy opened up. Don't need the box, as you guys can see. Here we go. Nice 300 yards of braided line. There's where your tag end is. When you do this, the way I do it, what I do is I will take my tag end here, save the sticker because you're always going to have a little bit left, so you've got a little bit of backup. I've got probably 10 spools like this with 20 yards on it. Get rid of the diaper wipes here. What I'm going to do is I always run it through the first eyelet. Sorry, I know this is off camera, you guys. Through the first eyelet here. And then with this reel, make sure you remember to go through your little line leveler. I think is what it's called. This little deal, it runs back and forth as you're reeling it in. If you were to sit here and watch it, you can see it moving back and forth there. Get it kind of right about in the middle. On your spool, there's a little groove in here. That little groove is where you're going to tie your line into. So, excuse me, we're going to feed this in here. We got our leveler in the middle, and this is where this gets hard, you guys, because you got to try and fish this long without losing your spool. Get a little extra off of it. Feed this down underneath. Figure out where it's at. This braided line, you can kind of get it to curve like that, so you can get a little bit of leverage with it. Twist it here. I do have a pair of scissors that are, I do believe, mostly dull. Make sure you keep your thumb in this so you don't pull it straight underneath and you're fighting it the other way. Take that. Make sure you got the right one. This one, if I pull this in, pulls this side of the loop, so I need to tie to this side of the loop. What we're going to do is, my go-to knot here, sorry I'm kind of leaning around the camera so I can see what I'm doing, is just either just a couple crisscross throughs, or with braid I will use the good tried and true, the first fishing knot most people learn is 7 around through and through. I usually only do 5 around though. This, pull it, lick it, and stick it, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, this is where you fight with it, because you got to get that knot right down, cinched up against that spool. And I'm sure there's a better knot for this. If you guys know what it is and wouldn't mind sharing, I would greatly appreciate it. Cut your tag end off, and we are set. As you guys can see, that kind of moves around on the spool a little bit. It's not 100% cinched in there. So we'll see if we can get it just tightened one more time. The other thing, you guys, is you can just do a couple overhand knots and call it a day. Ain't gonna be nothing special. So we got that in there. Now what I'm gonna try and do is let this go just to get a couple wraps on here, but without getting a big loop in it, to just get it started here. So as you can see, it's just kind of looping around on me. So we'll get this back to the middle here. The other thing you can do is sit here and spin this by hand. I know this isn't ideal, I just didn't get my knot tight enough. If I was smart, I would just untie it or cut it and redo it. But you get this, once you get a few in here like that, and you are off to the races. So now that we got a couple in here, what we're going to do is I'm going to take this spool and set it on the floor, just because I have a staircase here to my left. I don't want to send it flying down the stairs. So we're down on the floor now with it. We're going to sit here and just nice and steady. They say not to grab your line while you're doing this. I do, just to get that first run on there fairly tight. And then all this is going to be, sorry you guys, get the spool on here fairly tight, and all it is you're just going to sit here and reel this in nice and keep it nice and even, not too fast, not too much tension, you just nice and even. So if you once we get done through this, if you end up with a real high spot of the spool on this side, it kind of slants this way, it was pulling too hard to one side, you had too much tension on it, or not enough tension. I mean, either way, it all packs to one side, so you got to undo all of it and redo it all. So as you guys can see, that's kind of, it's staying fairly even, so we're doing all right now. But we're going to fill this all the way up. I will get there and we will get to that stopping point, guys. All right, so as you guys can see, we're all spooled up here. I showed you, I'm going to show you the stopping point here on this reel. If you look right at the edge of the spool right here, let me give me a fancy pointer out here. Right here on the edge of this spool, it's flat, and then you have a beveled edge, and then where it goes flat down the side of the spool, you're going to bring your line up right to that flat, right to where it bevels over and makes that 45. That's your full line. If you go any farther past that, you end up getting in here and your line actually gets caught up inside the reel, and it causes you a lot of issues later on. Line jamming up, everything else, your reel gets real tight for no reason. So now that we've got that, we're all spooled up here with a 50-pound braid. It's a nice even spool there. Nice, looks all nice and pretty. I'm sure it'll bird nest on me the first time out. But so yeah, you guys, that is it. That is right there how you spool a reel. Really the only difference when you get to a spinning rod, you're going to go under your bail, and that bail's going to flutter up and down, up and down, up and down as it goes. So yeah, outside of that, super easy, you guys. If you guys have any questions, or if we need to do a spinning reel too, we can. That's not a problem at all. Obviously, I've got a couple more different fishing lines here to go on the rest of my reels, so let me know, you guys. If you guys have any questions or comments, drop them down in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on that little bell. If you guys are following me on Facebook, Instagram, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. Until then, until next time, you guys, I will see you out there.